There's still a level we can go to. I thought our fundamentals improved as well. There's still some things we can do better in that area too. We did keep it simple. Line up quick, even though we had a larger package than that during the game flow. But the kids handled in-game adjustments very well. We had to adjust some things, and I was proud of the staff on the sideline getting adjusted, but even proud of the kids able to take it to the field and adjust. And when tough things happen, they did a good job rebounding. So those areas I was very pleased with from the film, but still a lot of room to improve.
You giving the players kind of the freedom to throw certain things out that they don't understand. Where did that come from, and is it something you've done for a while?
Yeah, I've done it most of my life coaching, 39 years. I'm coaching high school or whatever. When you go into a game or where it's live, you want the kids to have confidence. And it was, if they didn't feel comfortable with the call, if it wasn't clear, and it's not a joke. I had David Magazoo at the computer. He's going to erase them as soon as they raise their hand with each one. And it's for that. So they can play fast. And if they understand everything they're doing, I think that's very important. So I've always done that. And I've had some coach, I'm not sure about that. And if one guy says that, then it's off. And I've always done that, and two things it does, it helps me, helps us as a staff, but it helps me when you're calling to make your calls even more precise, because this group, these guys understand it. And so I've always done that. I do it the night before the games.
Did you do it any other way before, or is this just like, how did you come to this decision?
My dad was my coach in high school, and so I learned it there. And then once I finished East Carolina, began coaching. I was in high school level. I was head basketball coach, head track, all those things. Mostly in basketball and football is where I just started it, because the saying of clear mind, fast legs, cloudy mind, slow legs, that was said to me by my dad, and even in college by Coach Dye. So to have clear minds, you got to understand exactly what's going on. And you can play fast. And if your mind has any doubt, just a touch of cloudiness about it, then they tend not to play as fast. So in any game, any league, but especially this league we play in, you have to have that.
So what you all did against TCU, was that quite a bit more simplified than the previous weeks?
It's just what I felt the guys felt comfortable in. Even though we had a pretty good play list and call list, because they understood what we had in. As the game went on, as a caller, I saw some things that I felt we could handle in a particular manner. So I stayed with that, adjusted it some with some movement. So to the naked eye, it looked the same. But to the kids, it was simple because it wasn't anything out. But I thought we handled that well.
So Kenneth Murray looked like he played well on the field. Must have had a good game, because you said he would be your extension of you out there. He must have got the signals in and called a pretty good game.
Yeah, he does. He's the quarterback. We have a saying, Mike be the Mike. And he's the Mike linebacker of our defense, and the Mike linebacker of our defense, any defense, but our defense is the quarterback of it. And as he goes, we go. We talk about the command influence after the game with Coach Riley leading the whole program. And within the program, he has people in charge, but within a group, that leader has command influence over that group, and it's done by talking. We have something we say, well done is better than well said. So we live by that. So K9 was able to, he's been able to do that from the very second, and did a good job on Saturday.
Kansas State runs the ball with the quarterback run game. That's Bill Snyder's noted for certain things. What do you think about their offense and what they do?
First, I was talking about Coach Snyder. Utmost respect for Coach Snyder. I've known him for a while now. He's a man in this business that I look up to, not just me, but a lot of people. An example, when this happened at Texas Tech, after the game, we had a tough battle. We were able to win, and he was the first one to come up and shake my hand. When I got a head coaching job in East Carolina, the very first day in the office, the very first day, the first phone call was from Coach Snyder. So I think a lot of him. His football teams are, everybody says this, but are well coached. They're physical. This will be one of the most physical teams we played, and we will. And every team here is physical, but that's what Coach Snyder preaches up front, and to be one of the best offensive line we've faced. And so we know we have to be ready to have great gap security and, again, great technique. And then it always starts with effort. And because I know Coach Snyder have his guys that way, so we got to make sure we're ready to match that here. So a lot of respect for their team and program.
How similar is it to what you guys saw versus Texas?
Similar in some ways, and then different in some ways too as well. You know, they have their variations, and most teams have designed quarterback runs, and they do a great job with theirs. Texas did too.
Ruffin, after watching the game on film, were you able to notice immediate benefits of playing Ronnie Perkins more and having a few more four-man fronts?
That's sort of been my MO has been a four-man, start winning down, but also blend the three-man. I think you need both. You got to have both in this league, in any league, not just this league. But I've always been a believer in multiple defenses. I do like a four-man, but I also love the three-man, 3-4. I think that's very valuable and very needed. And there's some other speed packages with some in this league that you need as well. But I thought Ryan did a good job in his first start, and Jalen got some reps. Didn't know we'd be able to get him in last week when we talked. And so I was pleased with their progress. They have a long way to go, but they're still true freshmen. Everybody's remember that. And I was proud of how Perk came in, and Jalen too as well for the first time. Jalen for his first football game in college, and then Ronnie his first start.
I'm sorry. Was it all like surprising or anything that Jalen was able to? I mean, after all he's kind of been through, his medical issues, that he was able to even be able to get out there and play at this point.
Well, for me, in old school, I do believe in that. But when it comes to injury or anything to the players or anything like that, I don't believe in it. So playing them until our medical staff, which is the best I've been around, gives us okay. Mm-hmm. So Jalen's been able to work out and run, but we wanted to make sure he was ready to go. So he's a smart young man, was able to step in. So I was glad to see him get a chance to get some reps and get his quote feet wet during the game. So I hope we can see even more improvement.
Has this process been fun for you, just as far as getting up in the box and calling a game again?
What's been fun is being around the staff, and I love being around the entire staff, our defensive staff. Since I was able to join Coach Riley and the staff, that's been fun. The players, I love that part of the game. I love the football part. People say, well, what about when you go home? I don't watch football. Unless one of our players is playing, like Baker, some of the guys are playing that I've coached at other places. But it was fun. What's been the most fun is seeing the kids have fun, but also being around the coaching staff and seeing the players accept coaching, and they want to play for each other, which is one of the things we talk about.
Did you find yourself getting in a rhythm? Lincoln's talked about it as far as calling plays offensively. Is it the same thing for defensive coach?
Yeah, for me, my eyes watch. What I watch, there's different kind of learning. There's whole part and part whole. So I love watching the entire games when I break down, but also then going to different parts. Some people have different ways of learning. So when I watch the game from up top, I watch it just like I'm watching the whole part of the learning. And you get a chance to see what they're doing, and you have answers on the call sheet, and you're allowing your staff to have answers, and also the players to be able to come off the field and relate to us what's happening. And a lot of that goes into what I call, but again, you get into a field of what we're doing pretty good, and how we're playing and handling things in this particular defense. And then from that, you can make a little adjustments here and there.
Ruffin, Kansas State leverages their run game with the quarterback run game so well, and Coach Snyder always seems to come up with something a little unique, a little different. How difficult is it to stop what they try to leverage on the edge?
Well, because they're so well coached and disciplined, and whenever you involve a quarterback, he has an extra blocker. So we got to do a great job of doing our job. It's DYJ, do your job. And then at the same time, be ready to face a very physical group, and where fundamentals will be needed every game. And we preach them every game. This game would be one where they play with great fundamentals. We have to as well. And making sure we're doing a great job of that. And again, it starts with effort and fundamentals and attacking it that way.
You guys made several personnel moves this past week. What kind of is your thought process when you go about making those changes, particularly in the secondary?
Well, this going into the Big 12, and it started changing, you know, in 2000, 2001, and 2000, we were playing with a standard four, a group of four at the secondary position, because teams were spreading you out. You were stretched, and so playing with a fifth defensive back gave us a little bit more versatility in our coverage end, and that's something that in this league and this day and time, really not just the Big 12, but because we have to be ready to defend, and then even though you're in a 5 DB defensive back mode, that does not mean take away from the run game fit and process either. So the biggest thing was making sure that we had enough speed on the field to be versatile, and up front, going with some size, a little bit more size to help defend us. But then we also, as you saw probably in the game, us have different packages that feature different things and different people. So we're able to do that.
Because you moved like a guy like Justin Broyles has moved to corner. What was the thought process on that, and like Buki down as nickel?
You just, as a coach, you try to do what that young man does best. And it's not what you want him to do, but when you're watching him and evaluating him, what does he do best? And then use that. Like, he could be a great pass rusher. One of my best friends coaches at the Rams. He's the receiver coach at Yarber. He talked about Obo. Obo's going to be a great pass rusher once he's getting well now. So in that case, you ask me about, you just try to put them in a place where what they do can benefit them and also benefit the team. And as a staff, you juggle with and play with them a week and make sure they're comfortable with it, and those guys are able to handle it.
Is that kind of what y'all focused on in the bye week, just kind of tinkering with different personnel groupings?
When it happened, it just sort of, from philosophy, and what particularly what we were looking for and what I was looking for, but what we were looking for, and then just making sure we have the personnel in this conference on the field that can give us the best chance to help defend it and get the ball back to our offense, hopefully. Good?
Thanks, Ruffin.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.